Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I am on a financial freedom journey with my family. I share all about that and more on my channel. Today we're going to be going over our November budget recap. I film these videos every single month to discuss what we actually spent in the month compared to what we budgeted for. And for November, it was kind of a weird one. If you watched my November budget with me, we budgeted with no income because when I filmed that video, my husband was unemployed, basically. He was applying for jobs. He had interviews. At that time, I think we knew that he was probably getting hired at this company, but we weren't sure. So it's been a roller coaster of a couple of months, but we are going to be closing out November and hopefully moving forward, our income and everything will be more stable again and things will be well moving forward. But it's been quite a rocky few months, like I said. So let's go ahead and go over the income and everything for November. So for November, like I said, my husband started his new job in November. So he did receive his first paycheck from his new company, which is great. Then also he had some severance still from his other company. So there was like some wacky stuff going on with our income a little bit in the month of November. We actually earned more. So I didn't budget anything for November originally. I'm just going to include the severance in the W-2 income. I just realized that I did not put an extra category for it. So that's fine. So total from like our jobs, so, past and present, we earned $8,800 in the month of November. Like I said, the severance and my husband starting his new job like overlapped in a way that was positive for us, which is great. Like obviously that was an awesome outcome of this. Better than we expected. Like obviously we earned more money in November than we expected, which is great. So that's awesome. We also earned some side hustle income, which I never count the side hustle income until we receive it. We earned $184 in the month of November. And we also had October rollover, which I did not plan for initially, but we rolled over $700 from October to November because we weren't sure at that time, like when I was doing our closeout and like end of October, like we weren't sure what was happening with our income, which was kind of scary. So we were like, okay, let's hold back some money, like just in case. So we did hold back $700 from October. And now that we know, like we don't need it, my husband is settled into his new job pretty much. I mean, he's been there for like 2 weeks. So it's not like, he's settled in as much as you can be at that point. So we feel pretty comfortable. He likes the job. Like I feel like it's going to be a good fit. So we're feeling good. We're going to spend the rollover this month. So that was all of our income for November, and that totaled up to $9,684. So let's see how we spent that. So moving down to our categories, our first category is our mortgage, which is $25.27. That was $25.27. That has stayed the same for quite a while. We are expecting this to change probably in March. I think March is the month where it changes typically. So we did last year have an escrow shortage, which I've talked about ad nauseum on my page. So you're probably sick of hearing about it if you've been on my channel for a while. But we did have an escrow shortage. We decided not to pay the flat amount. We decided to just roll it into our payment because we didn't want to have to come up with like $3,000 out of our pocket at that time. So we were just like, that's fine, just increase our mortgage a little bit. So I'm hopeful that our mortgage will go down slightly. I'm hoping it'll be like around $2,300 flat. But I think our property taxes are probably going to go up slightly. So we'll see. But I'm hoping it will at least go down a little bit. It should, because like I said, I think like $280 or $300 of this is just from our escrow shortage. So theoretically, it should go down slightly, which I'm excited about. Next item on our budget this month was Disney Plus. We do use Disney Plus. We love it. I mean, my kids watch it all the time. My husband and I watch it. Is anyone watching Dancing with the Stars, by the way? Because that's on Disney Plus. My husband and I are obsessed with Dancing with the Stars. We've watched it for the last few years. I mean, I've watched it for like many, many years at this point, but I finally got him into it a few years ago, and we've been watching it ever since. And I love Alona. She's so amazing. Anyways, if you want to talk Dancing with the Stars, comment down below. We can chat about it in the comments, but it is fun. So like my husband and I use it. My kids use it. Disney Plus is sticking around for the long haul for us. I do prefer to pay for it annually. I know they do have a monthly, but I prefer to keep our monthly expenses as low as humanly possible. So Disney Plus, we pay annually. I budgeted 165. It actually came to 169. I wasn't sure because they did an increase, so that was over budget by $4, but not a big deal. That was at 1% of our income this month. And then daycare, we did not budget for daycare because we didn't know for sure what was happening with my husband's job and everything. But basically what happened is we got a spot at the daycare that we wanted. It was part-time, exactly what we needed and wanted. So we ended up enrolling my son in November, and that came to $800 for the first month. There was like a sign-up fee and other stuff, and then we had to pay for a few weeks. So the total for that for November was $800. Obviously, that is more than we expected, but because we had that rollover, like we were all good with that. But yeah, we had $800 for daycare that we did not plan for initially. Obviously, that'll be in our budget moving forward, but daycare. I love it. He loves it. It's amazing, but it is so expensive. Gosh. I did not miss having that in my budget. $45 for Peloton. If you guys have been here for a while, we have a Peloton bike that we love. I need to use it more. I've been slacking a little bit. $196 for our gas and electric. This is actually on budget billing. So yeah, doesn't change much for that. And then we also have our internet, which is $60 a month for our internet, which is great. Then we have our brokerage, which we do $100 a month into our brokerage right now. Honestly, like, I don't even know why we're doing that. I mean, I do, like, obviously, I shouldn't say it like that. I know why we're doing it. It just, like, it feels a little trivial sometimes, like $100 a month, like whatever. But I want to build up our brokerage a little bit because I think it'll give us more flexibility. Like if we do want to retire early, or just like if we want to give our kids money eventually, like I just want to have money set aside that like is invested, that like is earning a good amount of return. So like not just savings, like I want to have investments that we can pull from for whatever life throws at us eventually. Like maybe we would eventually use it for something else, but I just want to have that flexibility. And we have had a brokerage since like 2019. We were barely putting anything into it for like many, many years. It's still only like a few $1,000s. It's nothing major, but I think that having that amount, I just realized, like, what did I spell? Giving. Sorry, that made me laugh. I was like, what is that word? That is supposed to say giving. So sorry, my brain is melted from Thanksgiving break with my kids. But anyway, we just wanted to put something aside for ourselves and something aside in like investing that's not in like a retirement account or like tied up in retirement. So that's why we did that. But I would like to increase it eventually. But for now, $100, like especially now with paying for daycare, like I thought originally like maybe we would increase it next year, but I just don't know if that's going to be possible. So we'll see. Giving, we do give $100 a month to St. Jude. That's been reoccurring for quite a long time for us now. We love doing that. It feels really good to donate every single month and just have that on auto draft and just pull every single month. Next, we have our spending. So my husband and I do get $200. Well, we get $100 each for spending for the month. We spend that on whatever we want to. We don't track it. I don't know what he has. He doesn't know what I have. It's our own money. I think that's a really good way to do it. I have enjoyed doing that for quite some time. I tend to like spend mine, but I know my husband kind of saves his up. So it's just nice to have like your own money and have that set aside. Gas, we budgeted $250 and we actually went way over budget. This is kind of crazy. $358. We have not gone over budget like that in quite a while, but my husband was driving a lot in November. He was driving back and forth still, I think at the beginning of November, like to interviews and stuff. He was still going on interviews before he got his like final job offer. Then like the end of November, we were really trying to like penny pinch and not spend a bunch of extra money. So I'm pretty sure both of our tanks were like on E at the end of October. So obviously like we had to fill them up in November. And yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. Like I can't not spend money on gas, right? Like I don't feel like there's a way to really like manage the gas expenses, honestly. So it's fine. over budget by $100, but it is what it is. I do know that our gas is completely full in both of our cars right now. So again, we started on empty, we're ending on full. So I feel like maybe in December it'll be less, but my husband's new job also is about a 30-minute commute each way. So I do think that generally we probably will be spending more in gas. I think I updated our gas budget. I did. In December, I updated our gas budget to $300. So I think that'll be more accurate because like I said, his job is about 30 minutes away. My job, I only commute to about 2 times a week right now. I'm working from home 3 days and commuting in 2 days. So I don't drive too terribly much, but I still do have like a 20-minute commute myself. And he's going 5 days a week. So yeah, that gas will probably be more expensive moving forward. Groceries, we budgeted $900 and we spent $948. Not too bad, but again, over budget by $48. Again, I feel like we are kind of paying for October a little bit because we were trying to be like more frugal in October because obviously my husband had just lost his job. Like if you watched my October budget recap, like I feel like you could probably just tell based on the way that I was talking about it, like that October was like a very nerve-wracking month for us. It was, I don't know, it was a lot of emotions going on and like we just didn't want to spend money. Like we were trying to really like stick to our budget. And so I feel like November was like a product of that because like we didn't have many groceries. We kind of ate through our pantry, like needed to restock. Obviously we didn't fill up our gas as much in October. So like we were trying to fix what we did in October, basically. Fun and kids, we budgeted $100, spent $79. So we were under budget. Finally, we were under budget by $21 there. We like to use this category for like, I don't know, if my kids have like a birthday party that they have to go to, or like my son, actually, this is a good example. My son just got a permission slip for a field trip that was $17. So this came out of there. Basically anything involving with our kids, like I just like to take it out of there. The smaller stuff, like the field trips and like $20 here, $30 there, book fare money, etc. This sinking fund down here for kids is more for like the larger things. So like back to school, sports fees, like bigger items, shoes, like more expensive things. So that's kind of what works for us. It's taken us a long time to like figure out what works for us. And I feel like this system is really good. I feel like we don't have too many sinking funds. We have enough. So I used to have a lot more sinking funds and then I found that I would never pull money from them because I feel like I was too overwhelmed with the amount that I had. So like I had to find a balance of what worked for me. So like if you don't feel like you have a good balance, just play around with things, try things out and see what you like. Miscellaneous, we budgeted $250. We went over budget in this category as well at $296. There was a few like random Amazon purchases in there. I know we weren't the best with our money this month, to be honest, because I feel like it was kind of just like I was saying, like October was such like a restrictive month. I feel like November we were kind of like, okay, we're fine. Like it was like almost like an adrenaline release. Like I don't need to worry as much about money. So like admittedly not the best month for our budget. And then dining out, we budgeted $300 and we spent $336, again, over budget by $36. But again, not like horrible. And with my husband starting his new job, it's just been kind of a struggle to figure out. Like he's currently, or like was in November, I should say, he was working different shifts than he will be working because he was like training and stuff. So like it was hard for me to like figure out a balance of like our stuff. Like, I don't know. It was just like, it was a different shift that he's normally worked. He was leaving super early in the morning. I was having to do everything on my own in the morning. Then he was getting home later and it was just like a lot. So admittedly, we went through the drive-thru a few more times probably than we should have. But again, I'm not mad about it. Sinking funds, we had budgeted $100 for car, $50 for kids, $100 for home, $250 for vacation, and $100 for Christmas. We actually did adjust these slightly because of our extra income this month. So we actually did $250 to car. We did $100 to kids. We did $200 to home. we did 500 to vacation, and we did 100 to Christmas. We really didn't need more in Christmas than that. So yeah, we ended up doing more on purpose because we had the extra income. It just felt like a good use of the money, like to just like build up our sinking funds a little bit, especially because like as I was thinking about next year and like just our expenses changing and all of that stuff, like we probably won't have as much money because of daycare and stuff like to put extra into our sinking funds. So I was like, okay, let's take the opportunity now to put aside a little bit extra at the end of the year so that we're like starting off in a really good spot with our sinking funds. So obviously like a $500 to our vacation fund is great. Really happy that we did that. I wanted to like beef them up while we had a little bit of extra income this month. And then financial goals, we put $2,290 towards our financial goals. That is 23% of our income going to that. And this was me finishing off my Roth IRA, and then we also started our emergency fund goals. So that was a really great month. I always like to aim for like 20% of our income going to our financial goals. Now, again, we do invest heavily in our 401ks. I would consider it heavily into our 401ks. And we also have an HSA. So that comes out pre-tax. So that's like before this number hits our bank account. So just keep that in mind. We're technically only, saving 20% of our income, but it's actually a lot more than that when you factor in our 401k and stuff that you don't see in this budget. Just wanted to disclaim that a little bit. So going down to our recap here, our total income for the month was $96.84. Total expenses, $96.54, which leaves us with a buffer of $30, which was intentional. We'll just leave that in our buffer of our checking account. I round these numbers off. Obviously, we don't have exactly full dollar everything that comes out of our account, but I like to round them off. I'm usually very conservative with my rounding, so I usually round up, like unless it's like 01 or something, I'll typically round up just to give us a little buffer on that too. And then we also have this $30 going into our buffer. I like to have, a few $100s in our checking account where in case like a bill comes out early or whatever, we have extra money in there. So that's what we're doing with that. And that is my closeout for November. Let me know in the comments down below how November went for you and what you're looking forward to in December. I will talk to you guys on Friday with another video. Bye guys.